Welcome to the New Overlords Podcast, a video game show where I'm joined every week by someone who radiates knowledge and is glowing with personality. It's Sema. Hello there, Sema.
Hello, Max. Gosh, how are you doing?
Isn't this show rad, Sema? Rad?
Yes, it's extremely. I would like for it to be rad, yes.
Something radioactive. Yeah, we're going to talk about Atomfall today, aren't we?
Yes, you are.
Atomfall. Yes, I am. You did not play Atomfall, but I did play Atomfall, and we will talk about it. And it's fine. So we'll talk about why it's fine. But yeah. I know we have a ban on talking about the weather, but let me ask you this question, Sema. How many lies would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck lies?
And the answer is spring.
That damn groundhog is such a liar. Snow, 6 inches of snow, did you say you got last night?
Yes.
We've got freezing temperatures. Poor Stask has got his daughter's soccer games and it's freezing in the bleachers. I do not envy that. Anyway, that's enough of the weather. And now back to the news.
Good news, everyone.
So, news just in from Nintendo Expensive Direct.
Yes.
Nintendo Direct. Yeah. Looks interesting. Looks good. Switch 2 was in all its glory was announced. And that's not really the expensive part. In fact, it's not bad. It seems fine. Again, and I got to keep giving a shout out to them. IGN, best gaming website on the internet today. By far. By, like a order of magnitude. You guys are doing a great job, IGN. Anybody in IGN wants to come talk to us. I don't know why they would, but we would give you the time of day. They have a good article. They went over it. The price of the Switch 2 itself is potentially just dicey if there's going to be complications with tariffs and things like that. But overall, isn't that bad. $449 for the device. The idea that it hasn't changed very much, but it is an upgrade with a couple small features thrown in, is both good and bad. I think it's good from a fan perspective because everybody loves the current device. So to have a slightly upgraded version of the current device, that sounds great. Now, it's not that far upgraded. And in fact, it's coming in at arguably what is still a generation behind current top-end consoles from Sony and Microsoft. But that's fine for the Nintendo ecosystem.
That's where they are, yeah.
That's what they're going for. And it has to be sort of a mobile device and has to sort of work that way. You're not sticking a whole Xbox Series S into a handheld yet, at least. So that seems fine. The problem with the prices is when you get to the games. And I think we are now on the edge of Nintendo seriously ushering in a world of $80 baseline AAA titles. Mario Kart World, their showcase title that they're launching with the game and sort of new Mario. It's Mario Kart, but then like open world. There's another racing game that kind of did that in the past. So you run on the racetrack, and then when you're done with the race and you win or whatever or you lose, then you drive off the racetrack down the expressway or off road, and you go find the next racetrack, and then the little puzzles or things in between as well. $80 for a Mario Kart game. That seems rough.
I don't know. I mean, 80. I don't know. I mean, prices do go up, and how many hours of enjoyment do you get for this game?
Good point. That your point may be, and I don't disagree. Your point is that it's still worth it for $80, and we're getting so much entertainment out of these games. Why shouldn't they cost $80? And if you look
they do cost a fair bit to develop.
Yes, they do. They cost a lot to develop, and they are.
I get the concerns, though. Like, you don't want it to go up $10 a year.
Right. It just feels bad for them to be breaking that ground and saying, hey, guess what, guys? New price baseline, $80, because it does still just.
But are
sounds
they
like
the first company to have an $80 game?
No, but as an $80 baseline for
that your kids play in the back seat of your car while you're driving.
For that, and its multiple titles are now going to be coming out for $80. So they've launched multiples of them and announced it at $80. So it's a thing.
But I see an article right now with the headline, "Why more new video games cost $70," and it's dated February 2023.
Right. So Nintendo's like, $70? Hold my Mario beer. What is Mario?
What I was saying, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah. So it's potentially justified in a lot of ways. How much should a small indie game that has a garden and a code?
Yeah, how much?
Cost?
Yes.
$80.
I'm saying $80. Yeah, for sure.
That would be great.
Hold my bubble tea. Exactly, Dent.
Yeah. So it seems high. And then they had this. They have the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which is sort of like hey, now you got the new device. Let's give you a little virtual tour of the device and, an expedition with mini games and get really the feel of the console, and you have to pay for it. That baffled people the most, I think. It was like, fine, $80, we could have a conversation about that, but why would you take the demo part of your new device and charge people for that too?
How much? That is weird. That seems like, did you want to know how to use this device?
That's like,
then pay.
That's like charging for the liner notes kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did anybody know what liner notes are?
Zone.
Kids, ask your grandparents.
I do not. I'm far too young to know what the liner note is.
Liner notes are. Yeah, weird. Anyway, that is. Oh, and then the one other bit of it's because they're Nintendo. So that was my summary of all of this. It's like, why are they doing it? Because they can. Because they're Nintendo, and to them and to their audience, it is worth it, and that's fine.
Right. I feel like they're providing value. It's not just like an empty.
Right.
It's a little bit more than we're doing it because we can.
Right. In
return, I feel like they're going to provide a good game and a good platform.
We trust.
Not my kind of game,
because they've done such a good job and they've never disappointed in recent history. They're doing a good job. So as long as they keep that up, and then you and I were talking in the pre-show, they would have to do a lot to fall off that pedestal. Because of how rabid their fan base is and how normal people their fan base is, and not, elite dude. Their fan base isn't elite dudes that get angry really, really easily. It's just normal people who need a present for their kid to put on their Christmas tree, and kids who love Mario, and normal people that love Mario and play those games. They're really great games. They would have to go multiple games for multiple years to really harm their brand. They've got such a strong brand.
And they would have to attract the little G gamers over by having an Elder Souls game for Switch or something.
Which they are going to. So that is one thing that was announced. That's an interesting segue. There is a From Software blood dust something blood vampire game that is coming to Switch 2 exclusive, at least at launch. And then, so again, because they're Nintendo, they're continuing to propagate the idea of console exclusives, platforms exclusives. So Hades 2 is going to have a console exclusive. It'll launch on PC as well, but Hades 2 is going to have a console exclusive launch, time locked to Nintendo for some amount of time. Right. It just doesn't feel that good either, but they can do it because they can do it.
But also Hades 2, it gives them a chance to develop the ports. Develop for PlayStation and Xbox. Maybe they haven't done that right away because they're not a huge company, right?
No, that's true. They're not. That's interesting. So you think they might be getting exclusives money and then also getting sort of that opportunity in their timeline to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because it's time locked, right?
Deal?
Well, it seems like
now you
if
have
you
my
got
interest.
offered that, if you got offered that from Nintendo, why not?
Yes, why not? Make me an offer I can't refuse. Nintendo. That would be great.
How do you say garden and a goat in Nintendo?
Yes. It's a guy. It's a goat. It's me, the goat. And we're going to do that. Minor other game news stuff that's coming out or did come out. We'll talk about Atomfall in just a second. We did get First Berserker Kazan on the 27th. So we didn't podcast last week. Things were busy here.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard a lot about this except it's good, but it's really, really hard. And as such, I don't think it's like super popular. Not that it's failing at all. And it's probably doing exactly maybe what they expect.
Right. It doesn't need to be there. It's a niche. Hard games is a niche.
Right. So hopefully that's going well for them. And I think it was in the middle of this article from IGN. They had a poll. Have you ever quit a video game because it was too hard? Yeah. Has a game ever been so hard you stopped playing entirely? See results. 47%. Yes, it wasn't worth the pain. Right in the middle of the Kazan article. So, I
don't know what I think about that. I guess that's a good place. It's people are more likely to answer in the middle of this article than like in the middle of a Inzoi article.
Well, I mean, are they kind of like making the point that this game is too hard?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
crowdsourced journalism.
Yep. So good on them. That's a good one. Inzoi also. It's weird. A couple of these, I'm not seeing the buzz. And like people aren't writing a bunch of articles about them. It's like these are just like games that normal people play, not the games that like the people that read the articles read about. But they sold 1 million copies in the first week. So Inzoi is definitely going good. And then the article that came up from the publisher, from the game creator, basically kind of telegraphed that, yeah, this is our lives now. This is we are going to be doing this for forever. So don't you worry. Feel free to buy in. We will be doing this for like as long as the Sims have been doing their game. Wouldn't that be great? You know what would be great? $1 billion. That would be great. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know how many billions the Sims has made over the years. All up, I believe it is definitely in the billions. And then coming out yesterday, as of the time of this recording, which we have not had a chance yet to check out. Oh, YouTube with your ads. I need the non-ad versions of your videos so I can show this stuff during the podcast and give you advertising referrals. Anyway, it's South of Midnight. South of Midnight has launched. We shall be checking it out because it's on Game Pass. So maybe this will probably be the topic of the show next week. Just some impressions. Definitely loving the art and the style. We'll see if it holds up as a game as well. I hope it does because it's really cool looking. It just seems to be a great thing. And then a game that looks interesting and could be big for a lot of people. It's not it's sort of like that turn-based RPG style. Coming on April 24th is Expedition 33, Clair Obscure Expedition 33. Not a game I'm dying to play through, but looks really interesting and a good world that they're building and a good style. I kind of would prefer it if it was more of just like an open world RPG, but that's okay. We'll see how that one goes when that comes out. This podcast is brought to you by Garden and a Goat, the upcoming game from Contemplation Games that is just about to hit closed alpha 1. So jump in our Discord if you want to hear news on that. Probably in the next week. We're trying to just get through. We'd like to get through even just one round of performance phase and then just a little bit of cleanup of the game. And then we're going to get some actual humans instead of just us AI playing the game. I also have to do like the final round of game design where I decide like how long it takes for the grass to grow and how many ecobit credits you get for pulling a weed and the pacing. I have all of those are sort of like parameters, and we'll be able to put sort of like a baseline in and then see what people think of that. Is it too slow, too fast? And we don't want people to, if there's going to be multiple gardens, we don't want you to complete a garden in 5 minutes, but we don't want it to be 5 days of playtime either, unless people like that. So we'll see. Anyway, this game is also brought to you by gaming community Alea Iacta Est. That is one of our favorite gaming communities, ai-guild.org. Pals of ours, having lots of fun. Just had a good Star Wars The Old Republic night last night. Yeah, last night. That was great because we've got the season going on and we were able to jump in and do a bunch of stuff for the season objectives, sort of like the game pass that they've got going on in Star Wars The Old Republic. I did see the community manager, Jackie, is on her way to Japan. Star Wars Celebration's coming up next week, I believe, or the week after. And in theory, they should have an announcement of some kind, at least telegraphing what's coming story this year, a little bit more of a roadmap tied in with that for Star Wars The Old Republic coming up soon, too. Also, this podcast is brought to you by all of you out there watching, listening in the chat room right now, both on YouTube and on Twitch. We'll see how long we keep doing it on YouTube, but because it's a hassle. YouTube is hassling me. Stop hassling me, and maybe we keep being on your service. But we will we really appreciate everybody that comes and hangs out, chats with us in the chat room. You can see it popping off there. Stask talking about wiener butt farts and whatever else the case may be, as he likes to. So yeah, thank you very much. And with that, I think we can talk about.
Hello there. I'm here to show you a wonderful place.
That was Walton Goggins. That was Walton Goggins doing a little Fallout bit. Welcome to the vault. But this isn't Fallout. Don't think that this is Fallout, because it's not Fallout. It's Atomfall.
Right. Definitely not Fallout.
It's not Fallout. And you know, there's not ghouls, but there's ghoulish zombie creatures, and there's not vaults. Well, there is a vault, and you know, this is post-apocalyptic after a nuclear accident, but not a world nuclear accident, only a smaller nuclear accident in Britain. So the story of it is a nuclear power plant. Something went wrong there. You don't really know what went wrong. And part of your job, and this is really the basic game loop of the game, is it's kind of a mystery. You wake up in a kind of like in a vault to some degree, and you have no memory of what happened. And some guy in a hazmat suit comes in and goes, "Oh my gosh, bad things! You know, here's the note. You gotta go figure out what's going on. I don't think I can make it. You know, go on without me." And so you leave him to die. As one does. And you go out into the world, and it's the British countryside in this area where the nuclear accident has happened. Around the 80s, I think, is when the nuclear accident happened, more in a sort of a real world timeline. The military has locked down the place, and they have like military soldiers in there. It's not like super radioactive, but bad things are happening. There are sort of like toxic areas. This is the guy you talked to in the beginning who something bad happened to him. And then there's tons and tons of bad guys all around too. So it's kind of become a lawless zone. There is a town, and there's townspeople. You can hang out with them. There's people that have like their little hut or shop out in the countryside a little bit more. But outside of those couple spots in the countryside and the town, every place else is lawless and filled with a bunch of people who just want to kill you for no good reason that I can tell. We'll sort of get to that. But it's a very mystery feel. So as I said, you wake up and you get these notes for things to go and investigate. hey, you got to go check out this facility. Here's a note. It ripped out a piece of a diary. Dear Jonathan, I don't know what's going on. You must check out the vault. We have to see what led to this catastrophe. So then that's your note, your lead to go do that, to go check that thing out. And you'll get multiples of these and you can go on. And then there's some side quests, like branching side quests that you could go find out other things that you're discovering and weird things going on and crazy doings around the country. And then another little extra layer on top of it. I don't know if you've seen in the video, the classic red phone booth. You walk past those from time to time just out on the countryside or in the town, and the phone will start ringing. And it was cool. It was good. The phone starts ringing. So what did I do? I went and picked up the phone. Nothing tells you have to pick up the phone. And now you don't get a quest to, oh my gosh, answer the phone. It was very natural for me to then go pick up the phone. The first phone booth just started ringing as I started walking up to it. And I went and picked up the phone. And then there's a mysterious voice. And the mysterious voice says things to you. Like the first thing he says is, Oberon must die. Oberon must die. And you're like, what does that mean? I don't know. So it's more clues and mysteriousness. So yeah, that's kind of the setting. That's where we're at. It's more British mystery, whodunit, and a little bit of classic British horror than it is Fallout.
Core blimey. That's funny.
So the characters are well rendered in terms of being a character, but one of the things that disappointed me a little bit, just because of my expectations and what I was hoping for, was a little bit more charm, a little bit more humor, and maybe even British humor, which was kind of my cup of tea, as the case may be. You really got, and I have trouble not comparing this to Fallout. And
right.
You would do best to not compare it to Fallout. It's its own little game. It's its own little mystery. Go out into this world, discover the mystery, play through it. By all accounts, it's only a 20 to 30 hour game to sort of play through and discover the mysteries. And, games don't have to be the rest of your life. So, fun little 20 hours of story, like a television series, that's great. So
yeah,
go enjoy that and enjoy it for what it is.
I was just thinking I would watch this as a movie.
Right. And that you treat it that way, and then I think you'll be in good shape. If you go at it is this Fallout? Is it like Fallout? You'll end up being disappointed because it's not. And the charm and the humor is one of the ways where it's not. And that did disappoint me. I kind of wished it was. And the other way is combat. So combat is very primitive. You get like a club, you get, like a stick, the cricket bat. The cricket bat is actually a relatively good weapon. There are some guns. You can pick up like an old rusty rifle and an old rusty pistol, and the ammo is really, really limited. And then you get into these situations where, okay, it was just like at the beginning of the game, I've got a pistol with 5 bullets and I got a cricket bat, and I'm walking down the road, and there's guys, and if they have a hat on, which is 80%, 90% of the people outside in the world, they're bad. If they
because
don't
they have a hat on?
Well, this is it's like I kept walking up to people going, "Hello, governor," and then they would punch me in the face. Or shoot me and stuff. So I did not like that. So then I kind of clued in. It's like if they're wearing a funny hat, like a weird druid hat, or there's these raider guys with these weird top hats. If they're wearing a funny hat, they're bad. So just shoot them on sight. If they're not wearing a funny hat, then maybe they're good. See these guys, they're wearing funny hats on their face. They're wearing these funny mask hats. They're bad.
Yeah. I get that now because the funny hats look kind of menacing.
Yeah. These guys have masks, so they're bad.
Right.
That guy looks like he's from the the Wanderers, the gang movie from the 80s. Warriors, come out and play. He looks like one of the gangs from the Warriors, but you can't fight him. So like, don't try when all you've got is a cricket bat and there's 10 of them and they have like shotguns and stuff. So you're supposed to then sneak around, like get around it, avoid them, stealth around, which is fine, except it's not really a stealth game either, and stealth doesn't work very well. So it's more like avoidance and running away game than it is kind of like a stealth game or like this person. Yeah, like if you use the bow and arrow, you can get a little bit of stealth going. So
that sounds like, wow, classic hardcore.
Kind
it's
of
a running away game,
right? Like you're not supposed to like go and clear out these camps and kill all these people. I don't think that's not really the point of the game. You can. But you're kind of like the point of the game is to solve the mystery and find the clues. And sometimes you have to go into one of their camps to get a clue or to go to a place or do an investigation. But no part of the objective is kill 10 funny looking dudes with weird hats.
Right.
So
do you get loot from them?
Yes, you do. You have limited carry space. And then the loot that you get, it's not like big upgrades or anything. So the loot isn't all that important. It's like that way it's kind of weird, like weirdly non-RPG-ish as well. But you do want the loot because there's, this guy, he kept like, the AI isn't necessarily that good. He led them up to the top of the ladder. I read this in the IGN article, actually. I didn't know they had it in the video too. He like walked up atop of the ladder, and one by one, the rebels kept walking up the ladder, and he'd smack him in the face with the cricket bat and kill him at the top of the ladder every time. Then the next one would just come right up.
That's a classic zombie thing, though. But they're not zombies, right?
They're not zombies. They're people in the English countryside. They're Brits. They're just they're just blokes. They're hooligans. That's what they are. The hooligans.
Are there zombies in this game?
Yes, there are also zombies.
Okay. I thought so.
And you got to figure out what the deal is with them. And you meet one of them in the very beginning as well, and he wrecks your stuff. You got to like run away. You can kill it. I ended up killing it, but you really got to be careful. They're mean. They're really mean. They're like more like they're weird like fungus zombies and not just straight up radioactive zombies. But the things you pick up, you want to pick them up because there is an interesting barter system, and it's only barter. There's no currency. So you pick up an extra cricket bat, say, and then you find a dude in a tunnel, and he's like, "Hey, I got any good stuff for me? I like, cause I got a couple bullets. I trade you for." And then some of the different vendors have a preference for some type of items versus others. So it's maybe good to remember who likes what. And then you can trade your cricket bat for 4 bullets, or you trade a potato for, I don't know. I mean, like some of the stuff is really expensive. So you got to trade like 50 cricket bats for a recipe on how to make new grenades. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, it's more of a serious mystery than it is like an action game. It's definitely not an action game. And it's not a super open world exploration game. It's a little bit tighter than that. I think there's only like 5 maps
there's really
connected.
No better place for a mystery than the English countryside.
It is good for that. It's that proper British mystery, because like you'll like go talk to the bartender at the pub, and he'll say, "Oh, hey, I did hear, there was a couple of blokes in here, and they were talking about the old warehouse. Apparently, something crazy's going on in there." So then you go to the old warehouse, you get the clues and you just go. It's fun that way. But yeah, not a lot of the humor that I kind of wanted, but that's fine. It's, it doesn't have to be that. That wasn't the point of it. I just got to stop comparing it to Fallout, which is what you got to do. Got to stop comparing it, and then you'll have fun and you'll have fine. I think for me, I kind of would rate it like a 7 out of 10, which is good. It's, it's a fine 7 out of 10 game. It looks really pretty. It plays well. The things that you do are smooth. There's the telephone booth. It's just, I would rather be doing some slightly different things. I'd rather it be a little bit more action, a little bit more ability to go in there and shoot a bunch of things, the ability to have a little bit more RPG-ish kind of stuff going on, progression. Would have been a little bit more fun. And then the charm and the humor. It made me want to go play Fallout 76, or go play Fallout 4 a little bit more. It sort of did, which is interesting to me. I kind of do want to go play Fallout 76 now. So. But I'm still glad I got a chance to try it. And as I say, I do still like the idea. And I'm, props to them for having an idea and a bold move to. They put themselves in a tough position to go and make a game like Fallout, to call it Atomfall, and then, to put yourself in that position where you're going to be compared. I think if I had done that, I might have tried to pick a thing, like one mechanical thing and do it better than Fallout. And I feel like they didn't. Maybe what they feel like they did is story, but you can't really even say that. I mean, the Fallout stories are really, really good. So I think I would have tried, and maybe they, the twist that it's British, maybe that's enough. In a lot of ways, it kind of is. It's a kind of a cool, fresh setting from that perspective. And there's room for more Fallout games. Almost as if this was like a Fallout mod that you could go play through a new story. Kind of feels good in that way. Go play more games in that kind of like Fallout-ish kind of situation. It works. It works for that. Cool.
And you're playing Atomfall on Game Pass, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm wondering how much Atomfall costs.
Ooh.
I just Googled it.
It's probably some number of pounds.
Atomfall Deluxe Edition on Xbox.com is $80.
But that's a deluxe edition. What's the regular edition? Because the Mario Kart thing is
PlayStation is $50. Atomfall Steam is $38. I don't get that. It's $38.78.
Is that there's like a sale going on? Maybe there's a sale going on.
Maybe, but I mean, but like you said, this game is a short game, but it's not
a shorter game. And the premium editions of anything, fine, they can cost $80, $100, $500.
I'm assuming that the Mario games people play them sort of forever.
Right, read that too. And it might be the only game you play. And a Mario Kart game tends to be, played to death by the by the fam.
Whereas this does feel, well, just from listening to you talk about, it feels more of a game you play and enjoy for 25, 30 hours, and then you are done with it.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's how it's intended to go.
Yeah. Or in my case, 35, 40 hours.
Because you're going really slow. And
because I'm a slower. I'm a slow.
You're avoiding the warrior gangs and the funny hat man. Hello, funny hat man.
I'm going around them.
So fun little British, you can go to the pub and eat a British pasty and stuff like that. And, well rendered, fun to be in. Mystery, definitely the mysteries, the British mystery. Figure out what's going on. And the phone booths, little bit atmospheric, not super atmospheric, but a little bit atmospheric as well. Okay, enough on Atomfall. I know this wasn't telegraphed in the title, but we're going to talk about Sema. You know what I've been playing?
Yes.
Yes, I'm back on the Ark. I am back on the Ark. We decided to go to the island, back to the island. There's a couple new maps out. I would really like to there's 2 new maps coming later in the year. And like a map like Fjordur, I would really like. There's a new like sort of Greek Isles map out. I should check that one out. But we decided to go back to the island. We had a couple people that hadn't played much before, and one that had never played before, Machete, who was on the show talking about the Return to Moria. And Return to Moria really got him going on survival games. And I said, well, you know what you should try? Have I got the game for you?
That's how they get you.
So
That's how Max
Nazrai
gets ya.
hosted a server for us. He's got a server. Nazarai's got a server rack and maintains it better than Nitrado does and runs a whole bunch of servers for us. So he's spun up a brand new island map for us. It does have some upgrades though. The base game has some upgrades, and maybe we can talk a little bit about that. Because there's some new fun stuff in Ark, which was also fun to like try to go and try out and play as part of this. I like going in cold as a fresh, brand new character and starting from zero. So that's what we did. Plus, since we had Nazrai was in there and Machete was in there, and Machete had never played before, I said we should probably start on the island. Let's give you the baseline experience, and then we can do some of the more advanced maps and the crazier maps. But you'll sort of get that core story, the core island, the core map with the water zone, with the land zones, with the snow, with the volcano. You'll get the island. It was really fun for me because having done it now a few times and having done it really hardcore the last time I did it, whatever, like 2 years ago now, and when we did the island, year and a half, and we've done a couple maps since then from time to time. I really hit it hard and tried to like really like get everything, go fast. I tried to like spin up from zero to hero as sort of like somewhat as fast as I could, and still doing it. And it's been a week and a half, 2 weeks now. Still doing that. Really fun kind of doing it that way. And then super really fun to have people that have played less or not at all and be able to let them experience. I've really tried to be as hands off as needed to not like, oh, here, let me just make a whole bunch of armor for you. Because the fun is learning to make it the first time yourself and picking up the sticks and rocks off the ground and the fiber off the ground and making some cloth pants and going, look at me. I have made myself cloth pants. I am surviving. Like eating berry bush, picking berries off the bushes and eating them.
Yes.
So if somebody comes along and says, oh, here's a shotgun and a whole set of armor and, and some metal walls to make a house. Then you go, well, I guess I just finished the game and I'll log off now.
Yeah. I feel that way in every game.
And I think it's fine for people, for us as players, to make sure we push back when someone else sort of tries to do that to you. Because it's from a really good place. It's really nice when people do that. And if there's something you need or want, there's a lot of help you can certainly get.
Yes.
I've
or
done
if you're
that
trying
before.
if you're trying to do a particular thing and ask for some help, that's a completely different thing.
Yes.
And also, yeah, I'm guilty of the other side of it too. Like, bombarding people with, they're like, oh, wait.
Right.
I don't know if I'm even going to play this game yet.
Right.
Take your stuff back.
Right. So I'm really trying to hold myself back from that to make it feel good building your first hut. And even in the first couple days, I tried to like go at their pace a little bit too. And then I like went off somewhere else and built my big base, which I'll show pictures of in a second. So it's really fun that way. And I've done this in other games where I've somebody, I'll like start a game and somebody will say, oh, I can make you, the epic sword of ass kicking. And I'll be like, no, don't do that. Because if you do that, I will quit the next day. Only because I'll feel like I have won, which is great. And I'll really appreciate it for 5 minutes. And then I'll realize the drive, it just gets lost. So Machete still has the drive. He's got a couple other game nights to deal with, but he is definitely in there building some cool things, taming some good dinos. It's so fun watching it happen and then watching the bad things happen as well. Like, oh my God, this alpha raptor came up and killed me. Like, yeah. And I'll be like, have you been to the snow zone yet? Have you met a Perlovia? Like, what's that? Oh, you'll see. Are you afraid? You will be. You will be. Anyway, there's also new dinos, which I get to experience. They added a handful of dinos so far and are going to be adding more. So what this video is showing is a few of them that they've added in so far.
Wait, you're going right through those rocks? Or
the Ceratosaurus? Yeah, I guess he could bash through the rocks. I've never used it to do that. I don't know why you would really want to or need to. I guess maybe that'll help you get away. For a short amount of time, it builds up like a bunch of speed, and then it like goes really, really fast, but it only lasts like 10 seconds, and then it drops back down again. I
feel like if you're, I don't know what I mean by this exactly. Nothing against adults playing this game, but it feels like, the quintessential kid that's really into dinosaurs would just be endlessly fascinated by this game.
Absolutely. And the people who used to be kids and still are kids at heart, because 90% of the dinosaurs are straight out of the textbooks. I mean, they are right. What does a megalodon look like? Well, here's the models of what we thought a megalodon would look like, and then you get to go tame a megalodon and ride a megalodon.
Right.
So it's very cool.
And it has different abilities from other dinosaurs, and you get to learn about that. And it's just, this game just seems deep.
It is very deep. Them having been working on it for 10 years
helps.
They've gotten it to that point where it's very, very deep, which makes it tough for other new survival games. I keep seeing indie, like in the indie dev forums, hey, we're an indie team, a couple people, we're working on a new survival game, and you cheer them on and you hope for the best, but it's very difficult to compete with something that's been in development for 10 years. Because they add on new things all the time, like this. So here's one of the new things they added on. Most of the new things are a bunch of jerk dinosaurs that are jerky jerks. This one is not. So it's a sea turtle. It's called an archelon. And the archelon is really cool. It's not mean. It doesn't want to hurt you. And to tame it, you have to passively tame it. Like you swim up to it and you give it a little bit of food, and then it's happy for a little bit. You got to wait for it to be hungry again, and you give it more food. And if you do that enough times, well, then it becomes your friend, and you get to ride it, and you get to put this saddle on it. And I don't know if you sort of like saw the saddle there, but the saddle has force. It's got a place for the rider to steer it, and then 4 seats for your friends, and they look like roller coaster seats with even the bar that comes down. And then they can all ride on there. And anyone who's riding on it, they get an oxygenated effect where they can be they can breathe underwater. So then everybody can ride around on the sea turtle under the sea, which is really cool. I wouldn't do that though, because there's another sea creature that they added. Let me find it. That one's coming here. Xiphactinus, yeah. This creature is a jerk. It's a terrifying, mean old jerky jerk. So it's like this long fish, about as long as a megalodon. So maybe 5 human body or 10 human body lengths long. And it's sort of skinny, and it's got that underbite jaw with the big teeth, gnashy teeth. It is nasty. They're super fast. They swim behind you and they shred, and they've got a bleed effect, and they shred anything you're riding. They're like the worst thing in the sea now. They're not, I don't know if they're supposed to be. I would rather fight the alpha dinos, the alpha megalodons and stuff at the bottom of the ocean, or the Teuthotusis, which are the giant squids, all day, rather than fight a couple of those guys. They're the worst. I don't like them at all. In fact, I want to delete them off the server, because we're going to have to go into the water caves, and it's filled with these things, and a pack of these things with an alpha boost behind them. They can shred anything. They can shred a 50K. I know this means nothing to anybody. I'm just going to say these words. A 50K Basilosaurus with a good saddle They can shred it. Like 3 or 4 of these things can just shred it in seconds. It's terrible. It's terrible. Anyway, they also have this weird thing. I don't know if they sort of noticed it there. You can't escape them by like going into shallow water because they can flop up on shore too. So they'll follow you onto shore and flop up on shore and keep biting you. But if you tame one, like there, if you tame one, you can put a saddle on it and ride it up onto the shore and flop around. So people have done crazy videos where they'll take a bunch of these and they can't survive on the shore for too long, but they can survive for a while. So they've tamed a bunch of them and brought them into the boss fights on land because you can like pop them out of cryo storage and get 20 of these in a boss fight. And they will shred the world bosses basically. So Zephaxtinus, avoid those. Those suck. Most of these animals are jerks. Dinotherium are like big war elephants. Definitely inspired visually. You could tell they're visually inspired by, remember the war elephants from Lord of the Rings, the movies? The Oilifant, when they would see that. And remember how they had you can only put a single rider, I think, on it. But the saddle, the platform saddle that they put on these, it's very reminiscent of this, even like the saddles and the aesthetic of what you saw in Lord of the Rings. Exactly. The Oilifants. But these guys, if before you tame them, they're also jerks. And they're really mean. The way you tame them is very difficult. You need to like creep up to their aggro range, which is pretty far away. So a couple 100 yards away, you need to let them notice you. And if it notices you, you need to like hope that it notices you, but it doesn't get too angry right away. If you get too close, it's angry right away, and they will chase you for miles and kill you. So better hope you have a mount to jump on and fly away. Otherwise, if they notice you and don't get angry right away, they have a couple emotes. They'll kind of like shake their head, they'll flap their ears, they'll do a couple things. And if they do their not angry emote, just like the intermediate emote, like they're challenging you emote 3 times, then you can walk up to them. And then you have to have in your hotbar beer. So you have to have made beer or collected beer somewhere, and they will drink beer off of your hotbar. And then you need to run away until it's ready to drink again and go through that dance again of like emote at them, hopefully that they don't charge you, and then try to give them some more beer until you tame them.
Introduce new dinos.
You got really soft there. Sema, you got your headset up?
Sorry. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
When they introduce new dinos like this, do you have clues on how to tame them, or is this like people figure it out just from nothing?
I think people figure it out relatively instantly.
Yeah.
But no, they don't give you the clue too much. Because one of the things that this game definitely has is private servers or solo mode. So you can turn on like admin mode in solo, spawn one in with console commands, and play with it. So people figure it out within the first hour.
Yeah, gotcha.
Exactly what you need to do. Not the best ways to tame them and like the best traps to make and that kind of thing, but people figure it out. And then maybe there's some little bit of balancing. There's a couple new dinos coming later in the year, I guess, like the Brachiosaur. Brachiosaurus is coming later in the year. A couple of these are coming later in the year. I will talk about one other that came out. So they put out a video on April 1st. This video that you might have thought was an April Fool's joke about the cat. Out meow. Meow, meow, do I look like a cat to you, boy? So it was a funny video. It showed the cats. It jumps on your face and scratches you. The cats just like wander around and are oblivious to everything and aren't afraid of anything. A big T-Rex roaring at it, and the cat just sort of like sits there and licks its paw. Cute little video, good animations on the cats. And then they added the cats to the game. These exact cats.
Wow.
Yep. Just added them into the game. Now, the cats are kind of hilarious. And in some ways, some of their best work on anything they've added to the game. The work that they put into animating them and just their idle animations and their little fun animations is really some of the best they've done out of any of the creatures that they've added to the game so far. They have little fun, goofy things that they do. And their one main ability, so if after you tame them, and I'll talk about taming them in a second because that's a whole another project. But after you tame them, they'll ride around with you on your shoulder. They sort of like sit on your shoulder. And there's a series of little dinos in the game that are jerks, just little jerks. Like there's one called Pegomastics, and it'll come and it'll steal something from you. Maybe something important, like your crossbow.
Yeah, those I remember.
Yeah, the Pegos. The Pegos are jerks. They'll steal something and run away. You can see they're like got in their little paws and they're running off with it. You got to like chase it down and kill it while like raptors are killing you or you lose your thing. And then there's the Ichthyornis, which are like seagulls. And the seagulls will steal any food from you and eat it immediately and it's gone. And if you're like starving, this is a survival game, you need that food. The Ichthyornises keep coming eating your food. You get really, really mad. Anyway, you put a cat on your shoulder. And any of those little annoying animals that steal your stuff, they won't do it anymore because they get scared away by the cat. The cat arches its back and hisses, and the Pegomastix runs away. So in some ways, it's like, wow, that's great. I need one of those.
I just love the idea of introducing something on April 1st and then it's not a joke.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Let's turn April Fools into that.
That is you're right. That is a perfect April Fool's joke. For it to be like something crazy, funny, weird, like what if they actually did this and then they do it too and you get to play with it permanently. Oh, what a great thing. You're right. You're absolutely right. That's the best kind of April Fool's joke. As opposed to the nth post of, oh, We're adding clowns to World of Warcraft. You could play as a clown now. Haha. It's like fine, whatever. Good joke. But we've all seen those for years now. This was both clever, interesting, and then so much work was put into it. Made that interesting too. Here's how you tame it though. And this is also can be a little bit frustrating, but that's cats for you, right? Yeah. You find a cat in the wild. Nothing really bothers or like eats the cats or kills the cat, it seems. But you find a cat in the wild and you like got to walk up to it. And there's arguably three modes. They'll have like a little red icon over its head. When you walk up to it, you could sort of see it. It's over its head, or a yellow icon or a green icon. And if it's a red icon, you can, there's nothing you can do. That cat is going to attack you and scratch your face and run away and be mean to you, and you cannot tame it. And it will say, this cat does not want to be tamed by you. And the by you is interesting because it is specific to the player. Like if a cat doesn't want to be tamed by me, it might still want to be tamed by you. Like you might be able to go in there. Like Machete saw one that was like could not be tamed by me, and he could tame it. But if it's red, it can't be tamed by you, and it will scratch you in the face until you like punch it or maybe like kill it just to get it off of you or anything like that. The other way, yellow, I guess it could be okay with you taming it. To me, they all scratch me in the face and are mean to me also. But if it's green, well, then you can feed it some food. And you might have to feed it some food a few times and follow it around. And if you feed it food enough times, like some nice meat, well, then you're good. You're golden, and it becomes your friend, and you can take it home. You could take two cats, a boy cat and a girl cat, and make baby kittens out of those cats too. You can do that. You can have you can have 50 cats in your base while walking around. I still use otters as my quote unquote shoulder pet rather than the cats, but I did finally get a cat. So I was amused by that.
I mean, if they were to make it really realistic though, rather than going out and taming a cat, the cat should just show up and become like the queen of your camp.
Just like You're right. You're absolutely right. It should just like start, like wander by, and if it likes what's in the food trough, then
Yeah.
maybe it eats
Comes
some food
back or
out of
whatever.
it, and like maybe comes back the next day, maybe, and then maybe it comes and lives at your base and just like is there.
Right.
That's
And
clever.
will deign to jump up on your shoulder.
That's very clever. That should be what they should do. And then the final new thing that I've been playing a bunch with, that I think is really interesting is they had like this battle pass DLC that you could buy into, and it was called Bob's Tall Tales. Bob's Tall Tales, for 3 expansions for 3 maps they did over the past year. They added these new cosmetics and different things to the game, as well as some devices. And so the devices are tools that you can use in the game, and some of them are quite powerful. So I've just finally gotten to try a few of them out. One I was telling you about that I did try out in the last map, and not Genesis, I don't know, it was the Genesis map. And Scorched Earth, I tried a couple of them out, but so one of them was the Bio Grinder, which is somewhat disturbing, but powerful tool. Any tamed animals that you have that you don't want anymore, it's this big, as big as a house wide platform, with grinding wheels on it. And you can put your dinos up on the Bio Grinder and grind them up. And you get good materials for doing that, but it is kind of violent. So you might feel a little bad about doing that, which of course I did feel bad, but you get some really good materials out of it. So maybe you don't feel that bad. But there's a couple other new devices that now I'm getting to try out and get a lot of use out of. So one of them is for any of the dinos that are live birth, there is a embryo incubator. So you can stick the embryos, you can extract the embryo out of the mother as soon as the mating is complete, and then put it in the embryo incubator, which will hold it at full health, incubate it all the way, and then hold it at 100% until you're ready for it, because there's a lot of stuff you got to do for a baby. So if you can't be there, and you can't cryo the mothers, you can't pause anything. So for any of the animals where you had to sit there for an hour while it's incubating, and then the baby's immediately born, and you need to do stuff for the next half hour to an hour to the baby, that's a big chunk of time. So this is a really nice tool to sort of stop that and pause things and do things when you're ready for it. And then the other super big game changer, there's a bunch of other things, but the other big game changer I'll talk about is the genetic trait system. So on top of the stats where you're breeding up dinos for new stats, they added this trait system, and every wild dino might have a trait, and it can have a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 version of that trait. And there's 20 different traits. And the traits might be it's nocturnal. It's slightly more powerful at night. It's, mineral bearing. It can, if it's carrying rocks or iron ore, it weighs half as much. So all of these traits in different situations and combinations can be really, really, some of them are really boring. Some of them can be really powerful. And if you tame a dino, and you have to tame it, you can't get it out of wild dinos. You can extract traits from adults. You can't put traits onto adults. You can only put it on baby dinos, but you can extract traits from adults. And then you can store those traits. And then when you get a baby bred up how you want it, you can add up to 5 traits to that baby. Ends up adding a whole layer of breeding complexity. Again, another whole level on top of what we were doing with mutations and getting the right parents and stats together and getting mutations on those stats. The traits blow that all up. And now you've got a whole nother reason for people that maybe have been playing the game for 10 years on the same map and now have all this new trait stuff to go after as well. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a whole new layer of complexity if you want it. It's all only if you want it. And it's all just sort of sauce on top, because it is paid. You do have to pay for Bob's Tall Tales to get it. But it's just extra sauce on top of those dinos to add those traits in. And has ended up being sort of like a deep system for a couple of the old timers that are in the map with us, like me and Nepthen, who've tamed up powerful dinos in the past. This like takes it to another level, and you're like, oh, all right, now I got a lot more to do, and it's into sort of like now learning something new and then trying it out. So even for old timers, there's new stuff to go and do and play, which is cool. All right, arc. Me. I'm back in the arc. It has been a blast, so it's fun. In fact, I have not finished the No Man's Sky expedition, so I got to finish that too. We'll be able to talk about that maybe next week. But Arc, SWTOR, Atomfall, those have been sucking up my time for the last 2 weeks. And I dropped, and I'm upset. I got to go back to it. Assassin's Creed, because that is a great game, as we said.
Yes.
A couple weeks ago. So that
you have a lot to do.
And get a video game into Alpha 1. That's kind of like the main thing. That's what I'm doing most hours of the day, which is its own kind of fun. And in its own way, making a game is its own kind of game, which is really, really fun for me. So that's great. All right. Well, hopefully that has made you want to play Ark again. Come join the server, Sema. We have a nice little safe spot on the beach for you to make a little hut.
Yes, I know what safe spot means to you.
We gave what we thought was a safe spot for Naz and myself. I made a little hut there and Machete, and it turned out to be less safe than it's ever been because these new dinos that got added in, like a couple of the elephants showed up and like come and like stomping on everybody's huts. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Isn't that supposed to be happening here? And then a bunch of alpha creatures. So there is still a safe area. You got to go way where we first made our bases last time. That's still safe at the very, very south edge of the beach. But everywhere else is like more dangerous than before. So, that's what made Corley rage quit Ark was dinos kept coming and eating him and eating all your dinos. And it feels really bad, especially in the beginning, because you like do all this work to like tame up this, like a parasaurs, you can like ride around on it, and a pack of raptors comes and eats you and eats your dino. And all, your stuff lays on the ground, but your dino's gone. You can't get it back. Doesn't feel good. Feels bad, man. But then you come back stronger. Watch the Viva La Dirt League series on survival games. It's very Ark inspired parts of it, especially in the beginning. They do a really good job of takeoffs on that, and all true. Yeah. True stories. All right. I think that is enough for today. Thanks everyone for sticking with us through more Ark talk from Max, sucked back into the Ark. Stay tuned next week for other fun things. Hopefully we'll get a look at South of Midnight. South of Midnight. Can't wait. Until then, all the feed and subscribe links are on newoverlords.com, and our videos up on YouTube/newoverlords. Please come chat with us in our Discord at newoverlords.com/Discord. You can also follow on all the social networks, and we'll keep you up to date there too. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.